yeah. You guys doing good? Any friends now? Fuck, man, I feel rough. I'm not gonna lie. I got after it last night a little bit. Has anybody else in here been partying so much for so long that they're now as surprised when they take a solid shit? As it used to be my diarrhea. Anybody else? Any Catholics? Anyone party like a Catholic? Where Catholics at, man? Any Catholics, for real? We're in Chicago, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, alright, yeah, the girls with all their tattoos. That is not a surprise. Catholicism tends to do that to people. You grow up, you're like, I don't believe in God anymore, so I'm just gonna draw some shit on my arms. I don't know what else the point is. I don't know how Catholicism is still a thing. I don't know how it still gets passed along. I mean, we have the internet, figure it out, you know what I mean? I don't know who is at childbearing age that still believes in Catholicism enough to pass it along. Like, the way I can tell Catholicism works this way: you're Catholic until you're about 16, and then you're atheist until right before you die. And like, I don't know who's passing it. Every Catholic I know that's my age is just a crazy, drinking, partying, drug experimenting lunatic. It's all that oppression. I don't understand who's having a child. And they're like, hey, how do you think we should raise this child? Do you think maybe the same way that made us both cokeheads in our 20s? Should we try? Giving our son the same chance we had? Remember how we met, don't you? Behind the Arby's on the Coke bender? Because we're both Catholic, we didn't use a condom? And now we have Nick here trapping us in a guilt-based marriage. Should we just maybe raise him the same way? We got 2 more days left on Earth, you guys. You ready? You guys get everything done you wanted to do while you were here? Yeah, we need that. I hope it's not real. I hope the apocalypse isn't happening Friday. Because I don't think I've ever been less prepared for an apocalypse in my entire life than I am right now. I smoke, I party, I eat like shit. Friday, if I walked outside and there was fire raining from the sky and zombies roaming the street, there's a really good chance that the last thing that I would have eaten would have been a burrito from Chipotle. That's not a good way to start the apocalypse. You just come outside just after your meal, just like, oh my god, zombies! And just take off, you make it 4 blocks. You're like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna be a zombie. That's what I'm gonna do. It's fucking indigestion. The election's over, give it up for that. That shit is over. I don't want to get into politics too much here, you know, it's whatever, it's over. But I do want to say that I'm really glad Mitt Romney did not win. I'll tell you that much. And it has nothing to do with his policy, really. It's just he creeps the fuck out of me. That's really... There's just some things about him that really... The creepiest thing about him to me is that he has 5 sons. Which just seems to me like an intentional number of sons. Feels like some Game of Thrones inherit the earth shit. Just go out and spread the seed, my boys! The Romneys will inherit the earth! I'm just saying, there was probably a couple Romney daughters we never got to meet, you guys. He does like stealing ideas from China, you know what I mean? So, too soon? Too soon for a China joke? I'm pretty bad over there right now. Leave him alone. I hope Obama's second term he gets some shit done. I hope something happens, man. Something's got to change. The world feels really crazy to me. I feel like part of the problem is our heroes in our society. They send a weird message, you know, like Batman, for instance. Like Batman, that story, that should inspire average people like you and I to enact change. You should go see a Batman movie and leave and be like, God damn it, I'm going to do something about this. But that's not how it works, because Batman is flawless. Nobody feels like they can connect with him. He's just a super rich guy with no flaws. No one watches Batman and thinks, oh, I can do that. No one thinks that. I just think maybe for the next Batman they should humanize him a little bit, you know, so the average Joe can connect with him and feel inspired to make some changes in his community. You know what I mean? Just little things. Like if in the next movie, after a day of fighting crime all over Gotham City, it cuts to Batman in the bar trying to pick up girls, and he's just awful at it. Like he can't dance at all. Just like these Gotham City scene girls, just like, oh my God, I love dancing, and he's like, well, you're gonna love me. And it just cuts to him at 3 in the morning drinking whiskey, creeping on Rachel Dawes' Facebook page, just crying. I think the average guy would see that and be like, hey, that guy's like me, I can do that. Strikes out with the girls, creeps on his ex-girlfriends online, give me a cape, let's do this. Change the world. I was in like a mall today doing some Christmas shopping, and I heard a song I haven't heard in a really long time. You guys remember Savage Garden? That happened? First of all, the first song that entered my head when I heard it was that song, I Knew I Loved You Before I Met You. You remember that song? And the first thing I thought of, I hadn't even thought of Savage Garden for a long time. How many Soundgarden fans do you think made a horrible mistake and were really pissed off in the early 2000s? Like, oh, God damn it, wrong show. There's a lot of love songs, if you really think about it, a lot of love songs come from a really creepy perspective. Right? Like that, I knew I loved you before I met you. That's the creepiest shit you can say to somebody. Can you imagine if you walked outside after the show and some guy just walked up to you and was like, hey baby, I've loved you for about 2 months. You're like, oh my God, I have a peeping Tom Stalker, get away from me. What about, the one that gets me is ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you? What the fuck is that? Maybe if you weren't so clingy and crazy, the person that you love wouldn't be putting giant geological structures between the two of you. I think you're scaring the person across the country. And you should probably stop following them, would be my... Adele, we just gave her awards for herself. Like, she's clearly insane. Do you listen to her? The album that she just won the Grammy for, the 7 Grammys, was called 21. And if you guys haven't heard the album, it's 11 of the saddest heartbreak songs you'll ever hear in your entire life. It's just a breakup album. It's about one guy that broke her heart when she was 21 years old. And it's her 2nd album. First album's called 19, same thing. It's all a breakup album about the dude that broke her heart when she was 19. Right? Like, people heard that, they're like, oh my God, she's a genius. To take the pain that those men caused you and turn it into art and then name it after the age you were when they did that to you? She's a genius. I'm like, is she a genius or is she a crazy, clingy psycho? Are you serious? It's not enough time between breakups to be that sad. That's only 2 years. The hit song of 21 is called Someone Like You, and it's all about finding someone exactly like her ex-boyfriend. Maybe this is your fault. Stop dating in patterns. Learn something from your mistakes. It's creepy. Anybody anyone single out there? Okay. Pretty enthusiastic about it? Okay, sure. All right, all the ladies just slow clapping. That's a really weird thing. Guys are always proud to say they're single, and women are always really embarrassed. I've noticed that. It's like, who's single? Guys are like, yeah! Girls are like, no. That's weird. I've been single for a long time. I think it makes you a better man being single. Gotta learn about yourself. You can't just... Right? Because you want to get laid, and girls won't fuck you if you're on some bullshit. So you gotta, learn about yourself. You're not gonna get anywhere. One thing that pisses me off is this book, The Game. all these people read. It teaches pathetic losers how to get laid. That's not something you should learn from reading a book. That's just some shit you should learn from being out there and giving it a goddamn try. You know what I mean? All the lessons in that book you learn from just being single for long enough, right? Like one of the lessons in there is called negging. And it says you're supposed to make fun of a girl so she'll feel bad about herself and sleep with you. Which works. But you don't need a book to teach you that. It's a shortcut. You need to be out there. You learn that eventually if you're just single long enough. You don't need a book to tell you to make fun of a girl. She'll sleep with you. You just need to be rejected about 10 times before you finally snap. And you're like, you know what, fuck you, bitch. Your hair's stupid and I hate your dress. And next thing you know, you're having sex. You're like, I learned something today. I learned negging, apparently. Peacocking, that's the other one. Just to dress in elaborate, bright, attention-grabbing clothing. Which again, you don't need a book for that. Just go on a 1-year dry spell and you'll try a fucking fedora. I promise. I gotta get out of here. I just want to tell you guys about a weird first date I went on recently. It was pretty crazy. I met this girl at a concert and we hit it off. We were vibing over the music. Really getting to know each other, really into each other's shit. I was buying her drinks, we were dancing, having a great time. At the end of the night, like girls often do, I was like, hey, can I have your number? She's like, nope, thanks for the drinks, I got a boyfriend, loser. And I was like, oh, and I pulled out a business card, and I was like, call me if anything happens, because it's the kind of man that I am. And 3 months later, I got a phone call from this girl. She's like, hey, we should go out to dinner. And I was like, oh my God, are you telling me you and your boyfriend broke up? She goes, I am. Come pick me up around 8, we'll go to dinner. I said, fantastic. So I go to her house at 8 o'clock, I ring the doorbell, she comes down, answers the door. The first thing that I notice is that she had chopped all of her hair off. And I don't know if you guys know this about girls, but they don't do that when they're happy. So when that particular choice gets made, so we're like, what's that? Got a raise? Met the man of my dreams today? Bang, straight across. I'm so goddamn elated I'm gonna look like Peter Pan for a couple months. So I had to say something, I had to address it. I said, oh my God, your hair, look at it. Cut it off. What happened? And that's when she looked at me and she was like, oh, this is just a little phase I'm going through. I just broke up with my boyfriend. I just don't really want to mess with men right now. I'm just kind of done with men right now. And I was like, well, thanks for calling. So we have dinner, we're talking, the conversation is going well, we're actually hitting it off again, it's pretty exciting, but here's the thing you need to know about me. Like I mentioned, I've been single for a really long time. I pretty much always have a condom with me because I never know when my next/last opportunity is going to be. If a girl tonight's like, hey, fuck me in that alley, first of all, sure. Second of all, I'm wearing a condom because you're the kind of girl who fucks dudes in the alley. So, I've got it on the ready. So I had forgotten this condom was in my wallet. I go to pay for the meal because it's how I fucking roll, all right? The check comes out, I pull the cash out of my wallet. When I do, I flipped a condom out of my wallet that had been sitting in there that I had forgotten about. The condom flips up in the air, floats down to the table like the feather from Forrest Gump. And it lands, and I look at it, and I look at her, and she is not happy. And this is what she said to me. She said, mister, you have some explaining to do. What kind of girl did you think that I was? What exactly did you think was going to happen here tonight? And I didn't know what to say because the only thing going through my head was, oh my God, that is adorable. She thinks it's for her specifically. Thank you guys so much. I'm KennyDeforest12. Good luck to the show.